Hi, I'm Kevin and welcome to My Mentor. Today we're lucky to have Nathalia Scherer on the program, and among her many accomplishments, she was recently named a 2015 Dalai Lama Fellow for her work generating the Across the Bridge program. Nathalia, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And you want to tell us a little bit about what it means to be a Dalai Lama Fellow?
Being a Dalai Lama Fellow for me has a lot of different meanings, but mostly it's been an honor to have the opportunity to learn how to be actually an ethical leader, but in action, because sometimes it's easy to get lost in the many in the wisdom that we learn and actually not practice it. Mm-hmm. So with the Dalai Lama Fellows, they actually run us through a program to learn how to put all of that knowledge into action, and through our Compassion in Action projects.
If you were to hit a roadblock, did you get discouraged? Or when you hit that roadblock, let's say with Across the Bridge or even in classes, if you hit that roadblock, do you try and persevere and get through it because you're enjoying the process, and the goal for you is not so much that you get an A or that you're going to make $1 million, it's that you're going to take something from an idea and implement it into change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually get pretty excited about blocks and challenges. I think mostly because through my journey I had a lot of challenges that I had to overcome, and just noticing how it was to come after that, and overcome that challenge, and how I learned so much by going through that challenge. It now, whenever I face something negative in my life, I just see as okay, that's another opportunity to expend a part of myself that I'm not good at, or that is not working right now. So
that's one of your superpowers. Yeah. Not many people have that ability. have that ability, and in fact, so there's actually in the psychological literature, there's basically two different types of mindsets: a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And basically, you have a growth mindset, whereas when you're faced with a challenge, you, rather than say I'm horrible, I can't persevere over this challenge, you tackle it head on, and you change, modify your behavior to then make it work. Fixed mindsets, and this is why I was asking you all these questions, fixed mindsets are more about getting an A. They want their level of success is the feedback that they're getting from achieving a certain thing that their parents tell them, teachers tell them, society tells them, and your interest in making this change and confronting challenges, not many people have it, and so you should celebrate that about yourself, because it is a to have that superpower naturally is amazing, and you can continue to shape it. So it is what it is right now, but because it's a growth mindset, you can continue to grow it, change it, shape it based off of whatever your goals are. Let's take this for an example, or we can have it, change the scenario if you want. But when you have that type of problem, you hit a roadblock, and you're a dancer. And so, whether you're learning dance moves or whether you're thinking about a problem, do you implement similar strategies? So when you're learning a new dance move and obviously it's your motor system that's doing that, but it's also other parts of your brain that are involved, does that transfer to your other problem solving ability in any way? You probably never thought about this, so you can take some time to...
I think that the first thing that comes to my mind is that when we're dancing, sometimes we have creative ways to go around an object that is on the way, or and enjoying that. So I think that while going through, if there's a huge block on my way, instead of trying to break it, I would try to dance around it, and I can relate that to some of the challenges in my life, and being just accepting that the challenge is there. Sometimes I won't be able to change it, but I can go around it in a gracious way, you know, like, and enjoy it.
I think that's another one of your superpowers, or I would say, and it's something that's called embodied cognition. So basically, in learning and being an expert, you know, having an expertise in dancing, you have embodied those concepts into problem solving. And so a simple way to think about this is if I showed you a word like throw, you would actually also, the theory is that you're also activating your motor system. And so just seeing that word, reading it, you're activating this whole network of areas that are embodying the concept. So that can transfer to problem solving in general. As you're saying, you're envisioning yourself, maybe not consciously, but dancing around the problem, finding a solution with both your body and your mind to create that solution. And because of that, I think linking it back to the growth mindset, you're enjoying that process, right? It's more fluid. Dancing is fluid. Whereas a lot of people, they think of problem solving as very, you know, jerky, XYZ, like you have to do it in a certain way, and you're, you know, kind of finding this fluid path that the Brazilian universities never gave you. So I think that's another one of your superpowers for sure. So do you actually, is that a term that you just came up with, or do you throw that around among each other, like we're all superheroes and we're all...
We don't really use it, but part of the program actually teaches us about post-heroic leadership, which is the idea that actually as a good leader, you don't put yourself as the hero. You actually help others feel like heroes as well, and it's more like a community feeling rather than, oh, hey, I am the one. But still acknowledging yourself that you're helping others and that you're doing something positive.
So compassionate superhero.
Yeah.
So a cool thing about that too is you have so I'd say that this is another potentially a neurobiological substrate that's supporting that ability, or that compassionate brain, which is there's a reward system in your brain, releases dopamine, it helps you feel good, it helps you learn. But that same reward system actually is involved with compassion. So when you're actually giving, you know, they've related this to charitable donations or helping other people, you actually get that same reward feeling, and it's really in the, you know, helping others and giving that's really contributing to that dopamine hit. So that's another one of your, you know, peering inside of your brain.
Yeah, I can totally feel that.
What does it feel like?
Whenever I'm helping others, I realize that I have more energy. So even when I'm super tired and I can't keep working or reading something, but then I find myself helping someone, then like all of a sudden I have the energy back and I'm smiling. And
so where did this want to help come from, if you don't mind me asking? Like, were you, you know, was this always something that was present when you were little? Did you see something that triggered, you know, there was something that was unjust and you were charged to improve it, or, you know, where if you had to pinpoint it, did it actually, that spark?
For myself?
Yeah, for yourself.
Well, I grew up in a very simple community, and I remember having days where I didn't have food, you know. So I think knowing how it feels to be in a hard position really motivates me to, you know, do whatever I can to provide that to anyone whenever I have the chance.
So did you ever, in this want to, you know, help with your compassionate nature, did you ever get negative feedback from people that, you know, you shouldn't, you know, spend all your time trying to help, and rather you should try and, you know, make money or do, you know, more traditional ideals of success, you know, as you were saying in your university as well? And so did you ever get negative feedback? And if so, how did you deal with that? And how did you still push forward with that growth mindset for wanting to help others?
I think actually, I can't remember.
You've never gotten negative feedback?
From helping others?
Or it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but let's say in another realm. Everyone has always been positive to you.
No, definitely not. I have trouble remembering like those negative moments. Let me think a little bit more. I think so. Well, in competitions, for example. 2 years ago, I was part of this like big global competition, and of course, like being in a highlighted position, you always get like some kind of negative feedback. And by then, I think my self-esteem was quite low, so it was very hard for me to receive like those like negative feedbacks about the competition. But I don't know. Even though like it felt hard to receive it, like just because my self-esteem was low as well.
Yeah.
I was still grateful for that. Like I was listening to it, and I was open to whatever the person was saying. So even though I wouldn't like it, I knew that I'm not perfect and I wasn't doing everything right there. So
was that a conscious decision on your part to use it as a learning experience or a teachable moment, or is that just something that is natural to you?
I think right now it's something conscious, because I've read about it, and I've realized from the past experiences, but by then I don't know, I don't remember.
Well, I would just say that I think that again, I would say that that's one of your superpowers in terms of the fact that you can't remember, any negative feedback is a good thing. Then you can prescribe to people or tell people, hey, ignore when you get negative feedback. Like you don't even remember it and just focus on your abilities and wanting to make change. And then the fact that you can actually, once you actually remember it and absorb it, use it in a proactive manner to actually motivate and change your own behavior and improve. That's just, that's amazing.
So 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to see the Dalai Lama speak. And one of the things that he mentioned about feedback and about like criticism is that actually, listen to that criticism and take whatever is important. So if there's something you can learn from it, if it's constructive, then great, listen to it. And if whatever the person is talking doesn't have any fundamental, I don't know, if it doesn't make sense it's not useful, then just let it go. So I think that's what I tried to do.
Excellent. That's great advice. So did you actually see the Dalai Lama in person speak?
I hugged him.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah? What was that like?
Yeah.
I'm sure many people watching have never hugged the Dalai Lama, so what was that?
That was the most magical experience of my life.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
In what way was it
so we, as fellows, we had the opportunity to be called on stage and receive his blessing while they were just sharing what the fellowship is. And well, I'm a huge admirer of the Dalai Lama. I went to India to his city a few years ago just to be there in that atmosphere. And since then, I've always dreamed to like be close to him. And so when I got to the stage and actually, he held my hand, I just it was such like an impulsive reaction to, I just like leaned towards him and hugged him. I was like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. But
sure
it was just like, it was
yeah.
like this impulsive thing. Like I was so happy and just really like this feeling of, he looks like my grandpa. And I was like, oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah. Did it feel, what did that, I mean, was it, did you feel like an electricity and energy? Can you talk more about that in terms of just what that feeling was like?
So I think I was shaking and but it was like not the same as when I'm nervous about going to a presentation in front of a lot of people, or when I was nervous before my dancing presentations. It was just more of like I was just so happy and so excited that, and it's such it was I think kind of a new feeling for me, because I was feeling like I was shaking and so excited, and I was feeling like I was complete, but I was light. It wasn't like a complete heavy. It was something like, it was such a light feeling at the same time, and peaceful. So I was like, wow, like I'm shaking and I'm so excited, but I'm also like feeling so peaceful at the same time.
And so
I don't know, that was something new to me.
So in terms of your mindset and moving forward, did that even add more to your motivation for the Across the Bridge program and even in your everyday life? Yeah. So that spark of both lightness and heaviness, or the sense of the hug, and then this almost transformative lightness, sounds amazing. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it definitely it's a motivation, but at the same time, I realized that the most important thing is just to keep practicing every day and trying to be a better person. But definitely seeing him and feeling his energy is like, wow, like this energy thing actually exists.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running out of time. I'm going to summarize what I think your combo superpowers are. I think that you have an amazing natural growth mindset. You have an almost unbearing resiliency when it comes to negative feedback and roadblocks. You have a creative, way to solve those roadblocks based off of that embodied, cognition you have through your dancing experience. And then you're just overall good nature. Like, you have a great, good-natured brain. You just want to do good in the world, and that's not a motivation that a lot of people have. And so I bow down to your your brain in terms of that desire to help people, because it's not a skill that many people have. And I push forward with Across the Bridge program because, like I said, that connectedness, learning a new language, it changes certain structures in your brain, the amygdala, the inferior parietal cortex. And so I really, you're doing good. You're doing good in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Nathalia, for this, coming on and for this experience to chat with you. And to all of you at home, just remember, the brain that you have is not the brain that you're stuck with. Thanks.